Night was silent, except for the faint hum of the city far away. Inside the small room above the flower shop, the air was thick, heavy with things left unsent, with feelings barely touched, with tension neither of us could ignore anymore. After months of running, hiding, fearing for our lives, we were finally alone, just Cook and me, the cold mafia boss, and the woman forced into this world by fate and blood debt. I sat on the edge of the thin mattress, my hands trembling slightly as I looked at him. Cook stood by the window, his tall frame shadowed in the moonlight that filtered through the cracked curtains. His usual cold expression was softer tonight, more vulnerable. The scars of battles fought and lost were not just on his body, they were in his eyes. For the first time, I saw something I never expected there, a desperate need. Cook, I whispered, my voice barely above the silence. Are you okay? He turned slowly, his dark eyes locked into mine. I'm alive. That's all that matters. His voice was low, rough, around the edges like gravel, but the softness underneath was clear because you are here. I swallowed a lump in my throat. The air between us was electric. Months of cool silences of stolen glances and guarded words had built a wall, but tonight it felt like that was crumbling. I'm scared, I admitted, my voice breaking. Not of them, the enemies chasing us, but of us. He stepped closer, his gaze never leaving mine. The space between us was barely a breath now, and my heart pounded wildly in my chest. We don't have to be scared, said voice dropping even lower. Not anymore. Suddenly, his hand reached out, rough and calloused, and rested lightly on my cheek. The contrast between his tough skin and the softness of the moment hit me like a shock. My breath hitched. I wanted to pull away, but my body betrayed me, leaning into his touch instead. Your name. He breathed, his thumb tracing a slow path along my jawline. I have wanted to do this since the day I met you, but I didn't know how. Me too, I confessed, my voice trembling with truth. I was afraid that you did never want me, really want me. His other hand came up, fingers curling gently around my waist, pulling me closer until there was no space left between us. I could feel the heat of his body, the steady thump of his heart matching mine. I want you, he whispered, voice raw and honest, not just as my wife, not because of this marriage or blood depths. I want you. The words alone sent a shiver down my spine. The man who had seemed so cold, so unreachable, was now confessing his desire with such vulnerability it almost broke me. He lowered his head slowly, giving me every moment to pull away, but I didn't. My eyes fluttered close as his lips brushed mine, a soft, tentative kiss that felt like the beginning of everything we've been too scared to admit. His hands slid from my waist to my back, holding me like I was the most fragile thing in the world and the most precious at the same time. The kiss deepened, a slow dance of lips and breaths, of silent promises and growing need. I felt his fingers threading into my hair, pulling me gently closer, as if he feared losing me even in a small moment. The weight of the past months, the fear, the pain, the loneliness, melted away in the warmth of his touch. Tell me what you want, he murmured against my lips. I want to feel safe, I whispered back. With you, just with you. He smiled a almost shy smile that made my heart hitch. Then I'll protect you with everything. His hand slid down slowly, cautiously, to the curve of my hips. I shivered as the heat spread through me, a burning need I had never dared to name. His fingers were gentle but sure, grounding me in the present, reminding me that I was real and wanted. His lips found mine again, more insistent this time, as if trying to memorize the taste of me. I responded, opening to him, let go all of my fears, all of my doubts. Slowly, his hands moved beneath the hem of my shirt, tracing the skin of my back warm and steady. I gasped softly, the sensation electric, awakening something deep inside me. The tension between us shifted. It was no longer just desire, but something more powerful trust. His breath itched as he leaned into me, his chest rising and falling against mine. "You are mine," he said fiercely, "and I am yours." I nodded, words failing me. His hand moved higher, fingers chasing along the line of my collarbone, as if learning the map of my body with reverence. The night grew darker around us, but inside the room seemed to glow with the heat of our closeness. His lips trailed from mine down to my neck, gentle kisses that made my skin burn with need and longing. "Let me take care of you," he whispered, and I let him. Clothes slipped away slowly, one piece at a time, each touch careful and reverent. There was no rush, only the slow unfolding of two souls learning each other. Every caress, every whispered word, every trembling breath built the connection we had denied for too long. His hands explored with a tender hunger, memorizing the curves and the planes of my body, his touch sending waves of warmth that spread through me like a wildfire. My fingers tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, urging him to stay, to never let go. Our bodies moved together in a slow, perfect rhythm, a language beyond words, full of trust and raw emotion. I felt every heartbeat, every pulse of his desire mirrored in my own. The night was ours, a sanctuary from the danger waiting outside. Every kiss, every touch was a promise of protection, of love, of a future we both desperately wanted but feared. When we finally lay together, breathless and trembling, I felt something I had dared to hope for: peace in his arms. I was safe in his gaze. I was seen in his heart. I was home. But even as I closed my eyes, ready to surrender to the moment, I knew the war wasn't over. Danger lurked in the shadows, and our enemies were closer than ever. And then a sudden knock at the door shattered the flagrant calm. Before I could even react, the door creaked open and stand there. June, his eyes cold, unreadable, but burning with something deeper than anger, they had froze. Night shifted. Our fight for survival and for each other had only just begun. Then June's lips curled into a slow, dangerous smile. "You really think you can hide from me, Cook?" he said, stepping inside. I squeezed Cook's hand, heart pounding. Before, this wasn't just a reunion. It was just the start of a war none of us could escape, and in the shadows outside, enemies were closing in. The night was far from over.